Yeah, so I was passing along the change, but the schedule to the approved budget for doing. But that's the whole.
So, thank you very much. Oh, okay, too bad. All right. Can we start back on for the hearing? Thank you.
That's.
Okay, yeah, I would just like to continue with our discussion. We took a break to just get some updated numbers. But I just want to make a note, we continue with the discussion. Another council member, Mr. Torban, decided to leave. The mayor decided to leave, the corporation council decided to leave. I mean, it just showed that some people just don't have interest or showing that they're willing to work together so that we can achieve the budget. We just don't sit here and just show that we want to work together. We have to be serious, and this is not serious. These people are not serious. So it's as disappointed a taxpayer should be that we have people here who just don't care. So sorry, you would like to discuss the three?
Yeah, if this is where we're gonna.
Go ahead, please.
So it starts with, I'm looking at salaries and benefits. And what we said before was we have to do something similar. So my question for the finance commissioner is, can we use the salary money that was part of staffing to pay for staffing in our budget? And also for the health insurance that we're seeing the fringes. Is it possible to use that money in that way?
I would do a little more research. From my understanding, no, we utilize our allocated cost revenue calculation, and we're spending it down completely by the end of this year.
Well, why would that be? I mean, I understand lost revenue because of COVID. However, why can't we use this for current salaries? I'm not sure, I'm not understanding. I understand lost revenue for the current salaries. Why would we not be able to use that?
I'm not 100% sure. I really will get into further detail, but understanding that's what it is. I know we have to use it for a similar purpose.
I understand.
So if you give me a little more, get some documentation together at some point this week for you.
It did. And then, I mean, there's some other things that are pretty, like phones, laptops, et cetera. Those are things that are currently in our budget. And the total was like, it's only 17,000, but, you know, we're looking, if we want to make sure that we don't have to give this money back, then we should be looking at ways that we can look at our budget and put that in there. And those are the two things that's really stuck out to me was the salaries and the equipment expenses, which are, again, two things that are already in our current budget. Salaries and benefits, I'm saying. Also, there's a travel. And it says, so you originally said it was just for training, but there's a lot more here. There's service and equipment. There is training and workshops. Do we have that in our budget line? I'm not sure what services is for $70,000. I'm not sure what that meant. But I can look through the entire contract, but you've given
And
me.
we have to determine too what the training workshops are specifically for as well.
Mm-hmm. So does it have to be specific? Okay, so it's a category of training workshops. Are you saying it has to be apples to apples? That it can't be a training workshop for something different?
Not 100% sure on that. Again, I look in detail with the ARPA regulations to see exactly what we could utilize this for.
Would it be helpful to ask the director of development, who is much more versed in this and has a lot of knowledge around ARPA because she does it on a regular basis, to find out those answers of what we could specifically use it for? That would just, in interest of time.
Sure, that's the council's position.
Well, the rest of the council that stayed is here, so I don't know that needs to be a council's position. We need information. What's the best source of information? Is the best source for you to look it up and figure it out, or is the best source to ask, the development director who does it on a regular basis? So I think it's just a matter of gathering the information, just like when you were doing the other thing in terms of pilot, you went to Ms. Klein, who does all that, so similar ask, just who somebody who works with on a regular basis, is what we should be doing.
So, Ms. Porterfield, just an observation. With all respect, you're asking for the same information that we've been asking over the last couple of weeks.
I know.
And I'm so disappointed that we're not getting information over and over. And we're asked, oh, we need to work on a budget, we need to get a budget, we're being flexible, we're making concession. No concession from the other side. We're sitting there, we're not getting answer to our question, we're asking the same thing over and over for weeks. I was very clear today. I said, we need this information prior to our meeting. Same thing happened like all the days when we asked, we're not getting information. And here we sit here, we ask it again. Are we gonna get that information? Absolutely no.
Okay.
Because I've lost confidence in the way of asking questions and we're not getting it. So what make it gonna be different when you ask? No. There's a pattern of people just don't provide the answers to the questions over the last several weeks. At this point in time, I'm just inclined to vote for the last proposed budget that we had from the council, and let's move forward and have a budget. Any other questions? Mr. Williams? There's the two of us.
I sincerely hear your comments, and I would say the exiting of council members, corporation council, and the mayor definitely read poorly on myself. I can only imagine how many others viewing in, similar to yourself, wanting to have this conversation collaboratively to identify ways to get closer to the mayor's proposal. Seeing that exit definitely makes me second guess the efforts that we're trying to undergo. I can understand the frustration with these continuing conversations. I'm sure no one thought we'd still be at these lengthy discussions right now, but we are in the positions that we hold. We volunteered to do, so we need to do them or step aside. So I'm trying to allow rational thoughts to proceed, and I think the efforts in which we presented tonight still hold true. I would absolutely love to hear from the rest of the council, but I am still under the thought of continuing the conversation of these adjustments and continuing to show the tax base that there are individuals that care about your interests, that care about your opinions, and I will never stop doing the work for you, and I know that holds true with the rest of you at the table right now, and all we can do is our part.
So in terms of, I think we missed a sheet, in terms of the percentage, can you work on the percentage on tax increase on this year? You know, we did that cheat sheet the last time. Would you mind?
We didn't adjust the tax rate. If you could look at the bottom of the sheet, there's a difference between revenues and expenditures, 713,000. If you like, we could reduce or increase rather. Reduce the increase.
Yeah, appropriation fund balance.
You have to increase, so the revenues, you'd have to adjust the taxes in that amount, $713,000. So if you could see the assets, the revenues are 120,680, and then the expenditures are 119,966, and this is based off the original consolidated proposed 26 counts and changes. So if we can make the adjustment and then show you the
Yes.
tax rate, if you'd like.
Can you do that adjustment? Let's see the tax rate.
Yeah, of course.
Below the tax scale. And then the fee for the Mr. Williams proposed. Mr. Williams proposed
That's in the sheet for the
sheet.
you're looking for the waste rate.
Yeah, what is the dollar amount per unit?
Yeah, sure.
That's 75.
Can you, Darren, I'm gonna ask one other thing. Can you, when you're doing your calculations, also give us a sheet where you leave the refuse and trash at 50%?
50%?
Yes.
Cool.
So do both.
Yes.
So essentially, if I'm hearing correctly, we have to reduce some business revenue to offset the.
I'm gonna mute him.
We will restart our meeting after receiving additional updated documents from the finance department.
Thank you.
It's all going on. One. Yep. Eight.
I'm just saying one.
So looking at the document here, the one that 75%. There were no adjustments made on the non-exempt. The non-exempt is still at it's at 110.
Sorry, what document you're looking at?
This one of these pages on the top right.
No, so if you look, that's just a reference number, that's what was the original proposed budget, mayor's budget.
Oh,
110.76, so 50% of that, 75% of that is 82.57. And that, the dollar figure is $9,004,057, which is, in the, breakout for the consolidated, council worksheet.
so what percentage of tax increase is this? The one with the 75%?
Here's
What's it?
as you, flex the in office, you said to keep it at the, tax cap.
Yes.
Just the original amount, 34 million, which is still located in the,
So is that 1.8 or 2.6?
I believe that is the, 1.8.
So what is pushing it to 2.6?
Sorry,
What is pushing it to 2.6?
where are you seeing 2.6?
That's what was quoted, and I think Mayor says it's 2.6.
I can do the other worksheet that shows the calculation if you'd like.
Yes. Because I wanted a clarification because it wasn't in newspaper 2.6. The mayor mentioned here 2.6. And I know when we did the calculation, it was 1.8%, that's not the 2%.
And I can do the calculation for you.
Can you do that for me from board sheet, please?
And just to be clear, so we're not exactly at the tax cap, we're going under. To be, okay,
But we have to be under.
right, so we can't be.
It can't be under line.
No, I just wanna make sure,
Yes.
we don't make
So if you
those.
don't mind, please, one more change. Are there any other changes at this point? I just want to see if,
Yeah, no. Awesome.
because I don't want it to be like 1.8 and then it's end up at 2.6. We need to know if it's 2.6
Mhm.
so that we vote accordingly. Yes. We can continue discussion if there's any changes. We can just run it to them.
Oh.
No, don't pause it.
No,
Don't pause it. We can continue our discussion if we, look at the sheet then. So those suggested numbers from Mr. Williams. And the balance of reducing the appropriate fund balance originally 3.1.
So now with these changes, originally the public fund balance, we were going to say 1.1 and now it's 1.2.
Yes.
Making sure.
Which to their concerns provides more of a buffer for upcoming contract negotiations.
Right.
There was, I mean, right there is almost $800,000 that went back to the general fund from those suggested concession from you.
And so, and considering the other money that the ARPA funds that we might be looking at, I mean, it's possible to do a budget amendment later, like sometime next year, if we can identify places that this money, because we said that the people might be saying that, we wouldn't be able to have that thing later in the week.
And just for clarification, any adjustments in the ARPA distribution would have to come to the council. Right?
Yes. What's the part of the, do you see anything?
No, just going off again based on the information that's being provided, I do have an overall disappointment in how we were not receiving information. So, I mean, again, I think making the most informed decision we can at this moment. I'm willing to agree to these concessions in order to, in good faith, to try to move closer to where we thought the mayor original proposed budget is as far as that as it relates to trash. I'm not. Again, I still don't think that we're making the decision with all the full information that we need, but I think we have to make a decision based on the information that we have. If that answers your question.
Yeah, I just want to ask.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the check.
So we have the pilot at 2.9 million, 2.952 million that was suggested by Metroplex. And as long as I've been on this council, we have been using Metroplex numbers. At no point in time I can recollect that we go against their numbers. I trust their number. They're the one who's managing the project. They know all the pilots. They agreed to have these pilots. So everything is documented over there.
They
So
said it right.
I'm not gonna argue their number.
They said it right when I made a phone call to verify today, said absolutely. Would be ideal if we could get Mr. Buckham to answer our questions in writing, but it doesn't do that.
Why doesn't he do it? Why he can't. Well, he can't.
He's constrained. He's not allowed to answer our questions.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, let it be known out there.
That's what I'm saying. All right.
And then on the same token, the mayor is telling me, oh, we should work together. We should talk. We should provide numbers. And when we provide numbers, I am not negotiating against myself. So we are gonna have a budget tonight.
Okay.
I agree.
That I can get behind.
I think with referencing the conversations from the auditor, he said revenues are projections. And since I've been on the council, projections are either hit or they're not, and you do your best assessment. What we've done tonight is we put more money and returned money to the fund balance with the intent of providing more cushion for the city as they reach to meet these projections, these revenue projections head on.
No, I was,
But to the final point of we can't negotiate with ourselves, but I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think after this last round of it, I do not think there's any more concessions for us to identify with the individual civil current.
no, and there was one reason why last Thursday when we had the auditors here and I brought the concern in regards to the sales tax exceeded collection by $1.8 million. So it was underestimated by $1.8 million. And I asked the auditor if that's a red flag right there. So you can't say that, well, we're overestimating and our numbers are inflated. So then what happened when you underestimate by $1.8 million? And it's clear in the audit report here on the first page of this report of where revenue exceeded estimate. So based on these numbers, and it's 2024, 2025, and 2026 sales tax across the board, we have seen a growth in sales tax, 8+%, and we're entitled to that by 100%. So we need to account for that. What is accounted here for is just the agreement, the numbers that we agreed with the county. So why don't we now want to factor in the sales tax rate?
But I think we've seen time and time again, pretty, which I would call substantial shifts in our, substantial changes in information, all the way from things that Ms. Carver had identified early on in the process as well. What's unfortunate is that none of this information has come from, finance themselves through regular, which I think some would have expectation of just a pretty basic dialogue around, hey, we're asking you this, you give us that, and we're gonna make a informed decision. And if we disagree on where we go, at least we're at the same starting point. I mean, we've seen upwards of $1 million swinging back and forth multiple times and getting information from the auditor, where there's information being shared about one thing, and then we're going, oh, wait a minute, if that holds true here, does it have to? So it's almost like we have to stumble upon things to make the decision. So, yeah.
Well, what really sticks out in my mind is that I'd asked for the waste to be separate from the regular budget, and actually our charter, our code says that waste money, you're only supposed to spend what you get in. You're not supposed to actually like have extra revenue. You're supposed to get it and spend it exactly, and that's clear in the city code. That when we got that waste analysis, there was an inclusion of salaries that were being paid out of water and sewer. And when that question was raised, then there was an adjustment made that made the difference between the deficit being 192,000 and 26,000. So that's why, I know that maybe they feel like we're asking them too many questions, but it's really our job. But when those glaring things come up, it makes you wonder if there's anything else out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even, to the point where I was, trying to get him to come in under oath because I just felt like trying to take some pressure off. But you're in a position where you just have to tell the truth, then you're going to do it. But if you feel like, there's considerable amount of pressure on you to conduct yourself the way you are, I mean, everyone wants to protect their own livelihood. And I can really appreciate that as well. So I think we've been more than reasonable.
Well, the thing that you have to consider too is that in a matter of 2 days, we were able to identify certain areas based on Ms. Carver's, presentation to us, and they were able to recapture or reconcile almost $2 million. And after that, everything went, they shut down after that. So you're telling me from almost a month plus, they can't reconcile another set of accounts and bring it forward to us. It tells me about the efficiency in the department. And we're dealing with people's money here.
Residents' money, that's right.
Yes, taxpayers' money. They can't reconcile and adjust the account and put it back in general fund and reallocate for additional use.
Yes, that question. Oh, yeah, I would say so.
There's no need to make.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
The commissioner just wanna walk us through these two sheets.
Yes, of course.
If you don't mind, identify,
The first calculation, 34,110,939, was the original, real property, tax cap. So excuse me, 34,111,939 was the original, and, as stated, or as in the original consolidated, council changes, it was 34,110,939. It's a 2.14% increase over 2025, 1338 rate from to 1366, 3.8 increase. Just with a quick calculation with the adjustment in pilots, the actual tax cap decreased to 33,910,068.
Can you tell me what the dates, one date is August 19th and then?
Sorry, it's a quick calculation of the page.
Okay, all right. All right, so let's put it correct date. Okay, thank you.
So, you, as you can see, the real property tax consolidated, adjusted 30,910,068. And then you can see the consolidated adjustments, highlighted the trash charges and pilots are adjusted accordingly. Plan questions.
so on this sheet, it's $33.9 million in tax levy.
Correct,
The tax.
the pilots directly impacted on the, tax cap calculation. So whether it goes up or down, will move the needle.
And this is the new version, this one here, the 33.9 million tax levy. What is the tax cap? How much the tax increase on this one?
So with the rate 13.3, 13.58, 1.5, that increase approximately.
1.5, and that is under the tax cap.
That is at the tax cap, so that to be adjusted slightly as you did with the 34 million change.
How much do you have need to adjust it? To make sure that we're not under the tax cap.
It adjusted $1,000 under, last time, so
How much you did?
the council adjusted it last time $1,000 under, so I don't know if you want to stick with that.
Yes, we have to make sure that it's not at the tax cap, it has to be below. So if we wanna do $1,000, yes, we should. But to make sure we align properly. So I just want, so the proposed garbage fee increase. That is going to, I just want, just for the sake of the record, that is going to, where did I show it?
So we're gonna say the new reduction with.
Yes, with the 75%, that is taking us for, per unit. So for like, non-exempt and exempt per unit. So is that taking, non-exempt at $82.50?
So in 110, so you said 75% of that is 82.50 cents. Or the 776, going down to 57.
And that is increased per unit. It's a steep increase, but you know what? For the sake of working together here, the four of us, I'm gonna be okay with that. But I mean, it's a steep increase, but what we're gonna do, we have to compromise and do the best that we can at this point in time.
What do you mean it's a steep increase? What do you
I mean,
say?
$82.50 per unit.
Well, I mean, frankly, I agree with the 50%. I know, initially, however, we're trying to get to the point where we definitely did go over the tax cap and also trying to work with the administration on getting this done. So, Mr. Williams had a suggestion to that, so I reluctantly agree.
Yes, and that's what that's exactly what I'm doing. No disrespect on your suggestion. Your suggestion was merely was trying to work with the administration to be flexible, but it's like the flexibility is only coming from one side. It's not coming from both sides. And this is like I always keep telling, it's a two-way street where we have to work together. It's not a one-way. So can we have that adjustment to bring it below the tax cap by $1,000 to make sure that we align correctly?
$5,000?
Yes. If that's what's gonna take it to go below, that's what we did last time, $1,000 to make sure it's not on borderline, but it's below tax cap.
With the new information, I'm very inclined to make a motion to move this.
Let's have that, yeah,
So my question is going to be, are we able to even do that tonight?
what?
Are we able to create that language from the document to review that?
He's saying what Miss,
This Corporation Council provides a document for us to.
Well, we're gonna have to, Ms. Michael is gonna have to email, the Commissioner of Finance will have to email and update the numbers. It's more updating the numbers from the previous ordinance. Because we're not adjusting the capital. Capital stays with the number. It's just a matter of these numbers fluctuate a little. So we'll just have to get the revised number, provide it to the law department and get the resolution.
so can we do that tonight, the resolution?
So, no, that would have to, numbers will have to be provided for the special city council meeting.
Okay.
So the resolution will be available
Okay.
for the special city council meeting. When we call it in the next 3 days.
That's what, that was his.
Yes. So yeah, those revised numbers will get to the law department through Ms. Michael and the finance commissioner.
Thank you for the clarification.
So let's make that adjustment and then we'll review where we land in terms of percentage and things like that. And then we'll move forward and lock this up.
So you want them to do that now?
Yes, please, yes. We want to vote on the final numbers. Those paperwork will be delivered to the law department. And they will take those numbers and put them in the, it's an ordinance. It's not a resolution, it's an ordinance. And we will have that available for our special city council meeting this Thursday,
What time?
5:30. No, we sit there and I'm willing to work with everybody. I am willing to work with the mayor, I'm willing to work, but we seems to be compromised, and nothing seems to be coming from the other side. It's just talk, nothing else.
Yes.
We're gonna have to document this in an email with what we pass out of committee in terms of the numbers, or we can
That's
transfer
what I
it.
was asking Derek, because they have the final pages, so whatever they have, they should be sending to Maxine to put in.
Yes,
the
so that's what I'm
resolution.
saying. So you have to work with us to get those numbers to the law department. So we do have the numbers here in terms of the revised, the consul's number. And those numbers will be here, and then the capital numbers didn't change, and then the tax levy adjusted. So those are a couple things that we will need to highlight on the last resolution, and we changed those numbers.
However, I'm sure there'll be some miraculous attempt to derail this. I said, I'm just trying to imagine what actions might come to try to derail this at some point. So unfortunate that we have to think like that.
So what we do, I can answer it for the summary of what is the tax levy number? So we can make note of it. So when we write up the old one, tax levy number of 2 billion, and our new numbers in terms of the capital loans, the
Those are the resolution.
budget, operating budget, the numbers,
Operating account.
and capital.
I apologize, I've been wrong. So here's the updated numbers, the 1,000 minus under the tax cap. The adjustment also comes out of fund balance.
Okay. Yeah, you leaving?
Apologize.
And before you leave, can we just recap this number then? We just need to put up the ordinance. So adjustment Michael has it.
Which number, sorry?
What the number that we need to use in the ordinance?
The total number.
So in terms of,
119,966,727.
that is the operating, number, the revenue and operating expense,
General fund.
general fund. And the tax levy is can you look at that paper?
3390906.
68. And then the tax levy is a 2.4 billion. What is that?
What's that, sorry?
The tax levy.
The tax levy, what's it's the
Yes.
33 million.
Proposed tax, yes. But then we have to also, in the ordinance, we have to put the overall.
It's very close to this number here, so,
Which one?
so you received 33,910,068,
Yes.
so it's a smidge difference in percentage. Do you need an updated copy?
Yes, we need that because it needs to go in the resolution, because we have to vote on whatever that number is before you leave. And then the overall, assessed value.
Should probably just go with them.
Yeah, because, yeah, you wanna go with it? Because this sheet looks exactly like the last sheet.
He took it out of fund balance.
I don't see any difference between the two, the numbers are the same. Do you see any difference there? No, there's no difference. There's no difference in the sheets.
Yes, it was 34. No, it's 34, 688.
Ms. Reader, I recommend this building to make sure we get that information tonight.
Okay. Because they've been.
Oh, okay, I see the $1,000.
They've been told to leave. That's what happened.
That's funny, I didn't know that.
And what procedural thing is gonna be the barrier?
Okay, so before you have the revised numbers. I'm just gonna summarize them before we proceed to vote this out of committee, just for the sake of clarity and just for the sake of we have the correct number that's gonna be reviewed by the law department through Ms.
Do we need to, in the title include in capital budget?
Was this change?
No,
And I do remember, at one point, Corporation Counsel, first it was the issue of, oh, no, she did. Did she ever give a concession on that, this, no, so maybe we do need to change that.
I mean,
It's ridiculous that we have to do this, but we have to try to
cover,
think about what other technical procedural,
No, but what
Things that can be
what
created.
we're gonna be moving on the committee is the 2020, adopting the proposed operating budget and capital budget for
Right.
2026. So the resolution, the final board resolution will read that, so we can have
Okay.
this mind, but this is not that we need this tonight.
okay,
We just need to vote out the numbers, vote out what we agreed on,
Okay.
in principle. But in terms of finalizing the resolution, the ordinance for Thursday,
Mhm.
we can change the,
okay,
yeah, the heading.
okay.
So I would actually contend that the fact that he vetoed it acknowledged that it was accurate in how it was presented, and I recommend that we don't change anything in the title. It's really not.
yeah,
Well, we'll consult with law department, make sure that, we capture it, because we do not want them to sit on it and then say, well, after we vote on it Thursday, then they're gonna come back and say, well,
yeah, but they don't do that anyway.
we are- we wanna make sure we capture every single thing, what needs to be on the ordinance, and things like that. At this point in time, we just need to vote it out of committee based on the numbers, and we can work to make sure that we have the correct ordinance in terms of wording and the numbers,
In terms for the.
lining up for what we passed tonight.
Mhm.
What I will just read here is that, in terms of the capital is unchanged from previous to the last, budget.
Mhm.
At 7,752,275. That's capital. The general fund expenditure is 119,966,727.
Mhm.
The tax levy is 33,910,068. The taxable assessed value is 2,497,591,334 dollars. The water fund remain unchanged from the last ordinance.
Mhm.
Same as for the sewer and the Gulf Fund untouched. The only thing, section 10, we will have to get the revised, fee rates and have this resolution, it's already been ready for Thursday. So other than that, all the numbers lined up in terms of what we present tonight. And those are the numbers that we have in front of us based on the changes that we provided tonight. And based on the finance department providing us the necessary adjustment for these sheets.
Comparing it against what Ms. Barash did on the first, right, on the first, when we had this. What's that?
No.
Okay.
So based on that, as a motion for an ordinance pursuant to section 36 of the second class city law, and article 6 of the chart, is it 6? Article Article 6 of the chart of the city of Schenectady approving and adopting the proposed operating budget for 2026 and authorize the appropriation hearing enumerated. And those are the numbers I just outlined. So the motion is on the table to move forward with the revised numbers as outlined previously.
So yeah, before I vote, I'd like to say I appreciate the restraint of the council. Very much I was taken aback at the antics in every stage, but the consideration to the implications of the taxpayer has always remained present in how the council currently exists in this room, and on this table right now. And I know these discussions are often very challenging, but sincerely, I appreciate the work that we have been able to do tonight. And I will push that motion forward.
So I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much. Our second version will be on its way. And Ms. Michael and myself will follow up with the law department to make sure that we align with the number as presented today.
We need to adjourn.
If there is no other business of finance, we have a motion to adjourn.
Are there any rumors?
That's right. We're done.
So
Second, all in favor? Aye. We will schedule the special city council meeting for this Thursday, 5:30 p.m. And the agenda item will follow accordingly.
Thank you for your day.
Do you have anything you want to leave? Yeah.
You're perfect.